Hello and welcome to Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And today it's all about Christmas
Yeah.
movies.
Like we usually do. We've done one every year so far.
Yeah, we've covered Krampus.
Yeah.
We did
We did ones about some of our favorite horror movies or Christmas movies, horror movies. We did do that as well.
we did that too.
Yeah.
And then we did last year we covered the very important Christmas Prince.
Right. And I did Arthur Claus.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Christmas Prince and Christmas Prince 2.
Yeah.
And I just want to bring up that there's now a Christmas Prince 3. And according to my prediction, it is Christmas Prince 3, the royal baby.
Yeah, you basically wrote it.
I know. I'm like,
unknowingly.
I'm ready for Netflix to call me, and we'll work something out.
Sure.
I'll write you terrible holiday movies.
Oh, yeah. But I guess we'll talk about some stuff we like.
Yeah, did you like anything?
Yeah. So one thing... So we're recording this on the day... I wanted this on record, essentially. That this is the day where the finale for the Watchmen HBO show is on today.
Oh,
and
that's why you didn't want to do it on Sunday.
Correct.
Oh, shit.
But, like, I want it to be known that unless this show really falls down, like I'm expecting it to, it's my favorite show of the year so far. Like, it is the best show I've seen all year.
Oh, nice.
But I'm like, is this finale gonna, like, ditch dive like a Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna succeed here? So.
Well, that one episode I watched was pretty good.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, maybe I'll do a follow-up or we'll talk about it next time. But it's just checking in.
I'm sorry. I never know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
was very sick on Thursday, too.
Yeah. And then the Dark Materials is still going on. As far as I know, there's only 2 episodes left of that.
And it's good.
Also very much enjoying that. I finished reading The Kremlin's Candidate, which was the 3rd book in the Red Sparrow trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of ended kind of like I was expecting it to.
Donald Trump gets elected.
Well, he's already in...
Oh.
like I said, it's published pretty recently. I think the last one was from 2018 or 2017. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Cool.
I would recommend the whole trilogy, like I was saying before, just some neat spy stuff and just like methods and etc. The story is kind of just like, you can almost predict it kind of thing. It's just like, it's spy stuff. She's a spy, he's a spy, they're spying. But the details are, the details are where it's at kind of thing that I really enjoyed. And then the last thing, or I guess I could talk real quick, Mandalorian. That's been going on pretty good.
Wait, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's.
I did get Disney Plus though.
Yeah, it's.
Wait, you're watching it on my Disney Plus.
I am watching it on your Disney Plus. Yeah. No, it's good. It's kind of interesting because it's like, it's done in a more old school television where it's like every episode it's like self-contained.
Oh, that's cool.
But I think it'll be kind of similar to almost like a Doctor Who where there is like that overarching story.
But it's more episodic than
but it's
serialized.
more episodic like so. Which I don't think some people are expecting, because I've seen some negative reviews. People are like, nah, the character didn't evolve or change. And it's like, yeah, he just went on a small adventure. Like, it's fine. But...
I haven't seen any review. Well, no, I've seen people like Baby Yoda. That's all I know about it.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was about until I finally watched the show, of course.
But it's not actually Yoda, right?
No, it's just his species.
The species. The Yoda species.
Yeah, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head.
That's good. I would have called you a nerd.
I could find it, though, for you. But anyway. And then the last thing, and this was shocking to me, because I'm not usually a big fan of Stephen King's stuff, but I read The Shining, which he wrote in 1977, and it was really good.
Oh, cool.
Like, surprisingly good, almost in a sense.
Could you smell the cocaine as you read through it, or?
No, and what's shocking is, like, because I'm a huge fan of The Shining, as we've spoken about previously. The film. And so it was interesting to me seeing the things, of course, that were taken out and why they were changed or how they were changed. And also Jack Nicholson's portrayal was so perfect that it's like, I can just imagine him in the book anyway. And it kind of really worked. And like I said, it was really good. The movie is, of course, different and, doesn't focus on as many supernatural elements, but that's the point. But the book goes all over the place. And there was a few things that were really different that was... shocking, like, the maze in The Shining?
Yeah.
There's no maze in the book.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that seems like a weird element that, like, Kubrick obviously came up with, but it's weird that I didn't think that Stephen King would have thought of that, right? He has, like, these hedge animals that are out there, and it's kind of a whole thing. But anyway, just small differences like that. But it was really good, overall. And
maybe they had to change it because they didn't think they could execute good hedge animals.
I doubt that. I'm pretty sure Kubrick was like, I'm putting a hedge maze in there.
It's fair.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like, reading it and knowing the film that... Like, if this movie was made today, like, how different of a movie it would be with their technology and, like, you know, the portrayal of stuff. Like, because it would have been neat because there's a lot of scenes in the book where in the Overlook Hotel, there's more ghosts and Jack encounters them and stuff like that. Whereas in the movie, you only see like 2. Right? Yeah. And that's fine. That's the horror of it. But it would be neat to see some of those more elements. Anyway, enjoyed it far more than I was expecting. Probably going to read the sequel, Dr. Sleep, and then maybe do a follow-up talk on about that.
Cool.
But yeah, those were some things that I liked.
Cool. All right, I'll keep mine semi-brief.
That's all good.
First, to go back to last week, you recommended Hunting Warhead.
Oh yeah, I did.
Which I listened to and I really enjoyed.
Oh, cool.
Which led me to Missing and Murdered, which is 2 seasons. The first season is about Alberta Williams, and the second season is about Cleo. I can't remember her last name because she has 2 different last names. And so it's a CBC podcast.
Oh, okay.
First season is about the murder of Alberta Williams, who is a Indigenous woman who was living in, I think it was Prince George. I kind of get all those towns mixed up.
Sure. But Northern BC.
Northern BC, who was murdered, and the police are convinced that it's her uncle, but then there's all this, like, and it was in the 80s.
Right.
It's never been solved, right?
Cold case, okay.
Yeah. But people that she talked to in the community all have, like, totally different accounts that don't really, like, exonerate her uncle, but, like, there's possibly more involved, and the police are kind of never mind. Like, like, got blinders on, basically. So there's no real conclusion, but it was really interesting. The second season, though, Finding Cleo, was so good because it's about the 60s scoop, which was a lot of Indigenous children were getting adopted out to white families. Right. Like, getting taken from their homes and adopted out into white families. And this was about a family with, like, 7 kids where the kids were all split up, and the oldest daughter was adopted in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
And her family just got a note saying that she was, like, raped and murdered. Oh. And so they investigate this whole thing. They go down to New Jersey. They find her grave. They find out that that wasn't totally what happened. And yeah, anyways, it's super interesting.
Oh. And they're both CBC ones.
Both CBC. I recommend, if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, just listen to Finding Cleo, because it's infinitely more interesting. Oh, okay. To me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, like someone who's more interested in, like, a cold case kind of might enjoy the first one more.
Yeah, well, no, I like cold cases too, but I feel like the journalist kind of hits her stride in the second one. Right. And because it wasn't supposed to be a podcast. It was supposed to be a segment on the news. Right. And then it turned out to just be bigger. Yeah. And then I also have been listening to You're Wrong About podcast.
I don't know.
Which they take different instances. Like, the first one I listened to was about satanic panic. Right. And they tell you about it, and they say, this is what people get wrong about it. Okay. So it's really interesting. And I've listened to, like, I don't know, probably, like, 10 or so episodes of that. So
interesting.
I'm in the middle of listening to one about the Exxon Valdez oil spill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for TV shows, I watched all of Glow Up on Netflix, which is a makeup reality show, which was pretty good. And when I was at my parents' house, they're very into Forged
and Fire?
Yeah. I want to call it Forged and Fabulous, and I don't know why.
Perhaps because you enjoy drag shows.
Yeah. See, in my mind, it's drag queens making knives.
Yeah. I enjoyed the occasional of that episode. I was at my mom's house once, and we ended up watching. Like, it was on in the background, and we were talking and playing games or whatever. And I was just like, "Oh, this is actually kind of interesting to watch." But if you watch too many of them, it's all just the same because it's reality show
and
editing.
And there's like one judge on the panel, the historical one.
Yeah.
Where like
he's always wearing the vest.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, "Oh man, if he came into the store, he'd ask me way too many questions." But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was cool watching people make barbarian swords and then like doing all the tests with them.
You know what I do like about is those judges, like, not saying that other judges but like with a like say a cooking show, they do have chefs on there and they know their craft. But these guys, they're really knowledgeable about the one thing that they're knowledgeable about: weapons.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I said,
yeah,
like the historical guy, and then they have the martial arts guy who does all the weapons tests. It's like they really do know their stuff.
Oh, for sure. And I found that they, compared to other reality shows, they're pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
They're like, even when it's like shit, they're like, well, you gave it your best shot and you didn't walk out. Yeah. So good job.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of Forged in Fire as well. You know, I don't know if there's like the one judge who's on there. He's like a younger type guy, dark hair, and he's short. But he's actually also competed in the show.
Oh yeah, he was one of the judges. Yeah.
And I've seen him win.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he made some, beautiful sword at the end, and I was like, dang, that guy really can craft a sword.
I wonder what they do with the weapons, because I know they confiscate them at the end, like they take them. But I was wondering if they like
the loser ones.
No, all of like the winners
really?
too. Yeah, and I was wondering if they sold them for charity or something.
Maybe.
But then my dad was like, but if someone gets murdered with one, then the show's in trouble. Like, I don't know.
Maybe there's like if
I like murder someone with a hammer I bought there.
Maybe there's like an optional buyback where it's like you could buy it back from them for $1 or something to show you legally now own it. They don't have anything to do with it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. I was just wondering. I was like, that'd be cool though if they sold it for charity or something.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah.
If they sold it and then donated the money to like gun control.
Or I would say historical societies or a museum or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Funny though if it was
fair.
How do you stop a bad guy with a gun?
With my katana.
A knife.
Yeah.
With my katana.
My katana that I forged and then breaks after 2 swings. Dang it!
Alright, this is off topic, but have you ever been, in like Fan Expo when there's those guys with selling swords and then they're telling these stupid, like, this was forged on the top of a mountain, and you're like, no, it wasn't. It was made in a factory in China.
Sure.
It's gonna break if you hit somebody with it. It's a wall sword.
Yeah, or it's meant for cosplay. You're not supposed to hit somebody with it.
You're not supposed to do. It's dull. No, it cannot cut through a car.
What?
Why would you want to try that?
Well, you got to forge your own, like in Forged in Fire, and then you try that.
And then you cut through every car.
Exactly.
I guess we should get down to the Merry Christmas of movies now.
Yeah, our topic was, so we wanted to do a couple different Christmas movies like we've done. We couldn't decide what to do. Devin, though, you immediately latched on to The Night Before Christmas. Or is that what it's called? What is
The Night, yeah.
The Night Before Christmas.
K-Night.
Yes.
K-N-I-G-H-T.
Yes. So you immediately latched onto that because you were like, this is going to be
terrible.
Yeah. But we wanted to do something else, and our idea was to do a horror Christmas one, which we then watched Better Watch Out.
Yeah.
And then now we're going to talk about them, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to start with?
I assume The Night Before Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Because I watched it first, and I don't know, I think you did too, so.
I guess we should summarize it.
Sure. This is your wheelhouse right here.
So I enjoy a Hallmark romance because they're terrible.
Yeah, what does that mean, a Hallmark romance?
Like, literally Hallmark cards?
Yeah, that's what I assume.
Produce romance Christmas movies.
Oh, okay, because I remember 2 years ago you were talking about
They show them on, like, the Women's Network and stuff, and they're always so... They're like the Harlequin romance version of a film.
That's crazy that
but
they're
not
producing,
as good.
They're producing these movies. Oh, okay.
And they make bank,
Well,
too,
that's what I assume, because they keep making them.
Because they get, like...
Syndicated,
yeah. Right? It's like why people make crappy movies sometimes, because they know, like...
A producer situation, yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap to make. It's gonna bomb in theaters, but it doesn't really matter because they just want to sell it to, like... I don't know, what's a channel? AMC?
AMC.
Yeah.
I was about to say the W Network.
Yes, the W Network to show it 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, so it doesn't matter if it's good.
Sure. But anyway.
Okay, so this is a really stupid premise.
Sure.
I have so much beef with this movie that I will talk about in a second.
Cool, yeah, the first, what happens here in this movie?
There is a knight.
Mm-hmm.
He has to go on a super quest.
Well, that's not how initially it starts.
Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
His brother's gonna get...
Knighted.
Yeah. On Christmas Eve, and it's a big fucking deal.
Was it Christmas Eve, though?
Yeah. No, Christmas Day? Who knows?
Yeah, because there's time travel involved.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's like 5 days before.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. That was like a weekish before Christmas. But they're trying to track a hawk. Is like the quest by the king. It's
I don't care what they were doing.
Anyway, so they're in the forest.
He meets an old hag.
Meets the crone.
The crone. What was she called? They kept calling her something.
He just called her crone. Old crone.
Was that it?
Yeah. He called her old crone all the time.
I thought it was like hag or something. I thought it was worse. Alright.
No, yeah.
So he meets the hag in the woods.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm beautiful, help me. And he's like, yeah, sure. But she's not beautiful. Correct. But he's good in his heart. Or naive. One or the other. So she's like, you're gonna go to the future. But she doesn't say that. She says far away land.
She doesn't say anything like, she just says like, oh, you're going to a faraway land.
There's robotic dragons or metal dragons.
Yeah, iron dragons, I think she's mentioned.
Fly. Anyways, it doesn't matter what she says because it's stupid.
Yeah.
She sends him to the future.
Yes.
So that's our male protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Our female protagonist is played by, I don't know, some Disney person, Vanessa Hudgens.
Hudgens, yes.
She's a teacher.
Yes.
Who gives really bad advice to her students. Also, that student was wearing the worst wig I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if they like hired her and then they were like, we don't want your hair to look so natural. Let's put a wig on you.
But that is her hair.
It is not her hair.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that.
100% guarantee that it's not her hair.
I didn't pick up on that, but I don't see those details as much. Sorry.
Anyways, it's a terrible wig.
Right.
Very bad. Anyways, so...
And it's like the last day of school before a winter break or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I assume, because no one goes to work the entire
Nobody. So we find out that Vanessa Hudgens' previous boyfriend cheated on her, and she's sad about it. And she's going to take her niece to the Christmas...
village?
The Christmas village that happens to be medieval themed.
Well, and here is also one of my problems.
Even though you don't see anybody else in medieval.
No. But... So he sends her forward in the future. I'm like, okay, time travel. But he sends her to, or she sends him to Ohio as well, right? Like, I was like, how does that make any sense? Sorry, I almost got you on a spit take here. Because I was like, what?
Nothing in this movie makes any sense. What?
I mean, I get it. It's cheaper to film there or say it's there. But I was like, what?
Okay, so she goes to this Christmas medieval themed thing.
Yeah.
She bumps into him. Whatever, they have a moment.
Yeah.
Then as she's driving home, she runs him over.
Yeah.
The police show up, bring him to the hospital, and she's like, well, he's got amnesia and he thinks he's actually a knight, so I'm going to take him into my house.
Yeah, I'll bring him home, so at least he has somewhere to stay. He's got no ID. He thinks he's a knight. The cop's like, okay. And I was like, oh, God.
and her dad used to be on the police force and work with her parents are dead.
Yes.
But used to be... Also, side note.
Sure.
Parents died. She inherited their beautiful house.
I assume, because there's no way a teacher...
She said she did.
I know that, and I'm glad they had to include that line, because otherwise I was no way this woman has this house.
But she has a sister.
Yes.
So her sister got nothing?
Well, I assume maybe your sister got something else involved, or maybe she got half the house and she bought her out, or whatever, because her sister's married and lives with her husband. Okay, she bought her out.
I accept that.
But the house has a guest house.
Yeah, which is where the knight stays.
Yeah. And I was like, jeez.
And then through a series of events, they kind of fall in love.
Yeah.
She starts
over a week.
She starts to believe he's a knight. He has to do his big quest. He saves her niece, which is a stupid scene.
Yeah, I think we'll get to that.
She's like, that must have been your quest. And he's like, no, I saved a lot of people from frozen lakes. Yeah. Then he stops a shoplifter, and she's like, that must have been your quest.
A pickpocketer, sorry.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
A thief.
A thief. Yeah. And he's like, no, I've stopped many a thief. He's like, okay. And then he's like, I think that my quest is to help this character who we have almost no backstory on, and that we know is poor because his daughter doesn't have mittens.
Yes.
But aside from that, he's had no lines in this movie.
He's had like a couple lines where he's in the background and they just kind of say like, hey Frank, kind of thing to him.
Yeah.
And then we get the exposition by Vanessa or by someone else that's like, oh, his wife's died and now he's got 4 kids and etc.
Yeah.
And then they help him out.
So he arranges for Santa to bring his kids all this stuff.
Yeah.
But, and for like, to give him cash to help him out.
Yeah.
But like...
No, I just assumed the whole town was involved in that.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But like, that's like the climax. It's supposed to be like an emotional climax.
Yeah.
But, like, we have no idea who this dude is, so it's just flatlines. Anyways, then the saucy neighbor tries to kiss him under mistletoe, and she's, like, a huge flirt, and he looks over at Vanessa Hudgens, and she's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Because she just changed her mind, like, that, even though he's, like, living at her house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's living at his house.
So anyways, then they kiss, and then that turns out that was his quest. His quest was to
fall in love.
Get deflowered.
No, it was, to, like, fall in love or whatever.
Fall in love.
Yeah.
So then he gets transported back so that he can see his brother on his big knighting day. Yeah. Which also, like, we have forgotten about this point. It's not like he, like, is concerned about getting back ever in the story.
He mentions it a few times about how he's like, I'm so proud of him and it's going to be great, but he's never like, I'm going to get home.
I have to get home, yeah. So he goes home, Vanessa Hudgens cries, and then he finds the old lady and comes back so that he can be with her, and he brought his horse with him.
Yes.
For some reason. And they ride off.
Better time travel that time.
into Ohio.
Yeah.
Because he's going to either join the police force or open a bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my problems with the movie. First of all, there's no stakes.
The stakes are quite low.
They're super low.
Yeah.
If it was like, he needs to complete the quest or his brother will die, or something like that.
Yeah, like the crone's got him hostage, and she's like, if you don't do this, he'll never become a knight. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, I gotta save my brother.
Yeah, or like, if you can't complete your quest by this time, your soul will be stuck in limbo or something.
She's like, I'll reverse time and you never became a knight. And he's like, no, I've lost my whole identity or whatever.
Yeah, so...
some kind of stakes. Yeah, that makes sense.
If there was stakes, that would be great. Yeah, so that's number one. Number two, if his quest was to learn to love, it would really be a much better story arc if he started out as an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Because he is always selfless and kind and a good person.
Yeah, and he's always talking about, he's like, a knight is blah, blah, and this and that. Yeah. And I was like, you clearly have not researched writer, which would have your name. Knights did not act like that.
Yeah.
And everyone's way too clean in that medieval scene.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's not historically accurate, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But so if he was like, became a knight because his parents were rich.
Yeah.
And then he didn't really care about being a good knight.
No, because we learn about he's got like the poor kid backstory and everything.
So if he didn't care about being a knight and he didn't care about anything, and then he got sent on this quest and he's arrogant, and then he through like watching Vanessa Hudgens be kind to people, he learns to be kind.
Right.
And then he falls in love and they fall in love with each other. Then it's like a Beauty and the Beast type story, but at least it's like there's some sort of arc.
Change.
Yeah. And like that would have been a better story.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
No.
Because he's always a good person until the very end. And it would have made more sense with like giving the poor family presents at the end. Like him being like, oh, I'm going to do something for someone else.
Yeah.
Especially if there was like an element of self-sacrifice in it. Like he had to sell his sword to get the money to give him the presents.
Right.
Or something like that. And all of that would have been so much more satisfying. But he's just a good dude the whole time.
Yeah, he's like too good of a dude.
He's too good of a dude.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was that like Vanessa Hudgens also didn't have an arc at all.
No.
Like she was kind of upset that her boyfriend cheated on her and then she met a different dude.
Yeah, because she was like, oh, I'll be okay. Because to her niece, she's like, I'll be okay, whatever. And like, and then like you said, the advice she gives to the student, she's like, love's pretty much made up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So if she was like...
But then she never really... She's like, I fell in love with that guy. But it's like, yeah, you just met a different person who was not a different guy. Who was not an ass.
Like, you were upset that your relationship ended, and then you got over it. That's not really like an arc. So if she was like kind of bitter towards men, and then like, them being together made them soften to each other, that makes sense. Like, if they made it like... They had it set up to be like heavy-handed metaphor where she is a teacher in real life and she teaches them how to love, but they didn't go in that direction. So I don't know. I just I felt like it was a waste of time for everybody, including myself. What did you think of it, Dan?
I mean, like, I think I texted you jokingly that I was like, this movie was pretty much written by an algorithm. Yeah. Because it very much was.
I feel like an algorithm could have done a better job.
But, you know, it just, like, it hit all those beats that it was like, okay, he's the knight, send on the thing, they bump into each other.
But it didn't even hit all those beats because there was no...
No. It hit the right story beats, but there was no good setups to the story beats.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And because it's just like, they meet, they don't know, okay, and then blah, blah, and then eventually they're in love, even though it's like... Nothing really changed.
Why? It's because they're both attractive?
Yes. And so, yeah.
Also, on a side note, that dress that she wears to the party at the end of the movie.
The red one or whatever?
Yeah. What was that? It was so ugly. Because, first of all, that fabric, that red lace was hideous. Second of all, it was a mermaid dress, but it like came to like mid-calf. It was like a midi mermaid dress, which totally defeats the purpose of it being a mermaid style dress.
Some designer thought it looked good.
Well, they were wrong.
They were really wrong.
It's probably from her personal fashion line.
Well, and one thing as well is Cole, that's our knight, Circle. He accepts that he's in modern times, just way too easily. He's like, I watched a night of TV, and now I'm like, no, he would be freaking the hell out. He wouldn't even be able to understand our English. Because there was nowhere, like, there was a couple little, like, fish out of water moments, but it was, I'm going to drive a car, and I was like, no, he wouldn't even understand the concept of a car.
Also, right? I think the most fish out of water moment was that scene that lasted too long, and it was probably supposed to be endearing and funny, when he's talking to Alexa.
Yeah, which was annoying.
Yeah.
At least I just thought it was annoying.
Oh my god, it was so annoying. But I wondered if when he was asking her for his horse, and then she plays Jingle Bells or something, I was wondering if in the original script it was supposed to be that song Ride My Horse by Lil Nas X, but they couldn't get the rights to it. You know that, Ride My Horse.
I don't.
I'm gonna ride a...
No, because that's not my jam. Oh. Anyway, overall, I was like, this is not my kind of movie anyway. But I was like, this is not a very good representation of this. Because some can bleed through, right? Like a Love Actually or, you know, something along those lines.
Yeah,
where it's
those
like,
are good movies.
They rise up and you're like, wow, that was really good, even though it's not my kind of style.
Yeah.
This is not my kind of style.
And it was bad.
And it was not very good, but I could see what was supposed to be kind of going on in one of these.
Yeah.
Okay, so this movie got one, like, genuine laugh from me, and I think it was because there was a mistake. I don't know if you noticed. They do the establishing shot at school. Vanessa Hudgens is talking to her student, and they do like a side shot, and then you can see the trees behind them, and they're green, and it's sunny.
Oh.
And I laughed so much that I had to rewind to make sure that I was seeing that. Because I was like, am I just imagining this?
I totally missed that.
And I was like, how could you... you just spray some of them with some fake snow. Come on. Because no one appears cold in this movie either.
Oh, you know it's filmed in the summer.
Yeah.
You know they filmed it this summer.
Yeah. But anyway, that was kind of, like I said, a laugh there. I don't know. I just felt, like I said, like he accepts modern times too quick. But I was like, okay, that's fine. Because that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is supposed to be him learning to love Vanessa Hudgens. Yep. She's supposed to fall in love with him.
But it's not like he didn't know how to love before, because he obviously loves his brother.
Yeah.
Cares about his brother.
Yes.
It's not like he's an arrogant, selfish, spoiled brat who doesn't care about anything.
Well, and I was going to say, and then when it's leading to the climax thing, I did like his dislike of modern bread. I thought that was a funny moment where he's like tasting the bread and he's like, we can't serve this, it's terrible. And I was like, he's absolutely correct.
Nice.
And then he's like, you know, I'll bake some bread. But then we get I was like, he's a knight. He's not supposed to know that kind of stuff. He's supposed to be above that. And he's like, I worked in the kitchens for 6 years. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Did you love, though, that the entire kitchen's covered in like 20 different kinds of bread?
Yeah.
When they cut to that, I'm like, so he wasn't like baking like a bunch of batches of one kind of bread. He decided to go for like the whole...
You know, he's got to do what you got to do.
So, this is important to know.
Okay.
There is a line in this movie that proves that this movie...
Right, you were saying this,
and The Christmas Prince exist in the same universe.
Or at least the same world.
Yeah. And another thing that I thought was funny was that when they were watching TV, the movie that they were watching is another Christmas Netflix romance.
Well, sure, you got the rights to it.
You got the rights, yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I recognized it from a trailer. Mm. But when they are decorating the tree, the sister opens a box and there's a big wooden acorn.
Yes, okay.
And then she says to her daughter, this is from when my parents went to blah, blah, blah country.
Right.
Anyways, that made-up country is the country that the Christmas prince is the prince of.
Nice.
Yes. And I think that the decoration... A wooden decoration is a big deal in the second one.
Yeah, you were talking about that before.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because there was like the one person was always carving them or making them.
Yeah.
And even in this movie, they talk about that because she's like, my parents used to make decorations.
Yeah.
Right, so...
Yeah, so
apparently it's a big theme through Netflix Christmas movies.
Same universe. I wonder if it's the same writer. But anyways, I'm waiting for the crossover when Cole's brother travels to fake country and falls in love with the Christmas Prince's younger sister.
That's number 4. That's Christmas Prince number 4, or The Night Before Christmas 2.
The night before the Christmas Princess.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it was directed by someone named Monica Mitchell and written by Kara J. Russell.
Good job, Kara.
Writer-directors. And it's funny because, again, like I was saying, just like that mistake, and then some of the things like you're saying, the Christmas Village, like, obviously you can make movies on any kind of budget. I'm just curious how much they made, how much it cost to make this, but you can't find that information out, right? Because it's just like Netflix doesn't really tell you unless they spend, unless they do something where they're like, Stranger Things, we spent $1 million an episode or whatever. Like this, they're just like, we made a movie. And like, yeah, but how much did you spend making this movie?
I would assume that it would be a similar budget to like a Hallmark movie.
Sure.
Except probably a little bit more to pay for that star power of
like I'm not saying the movie looks entirely cheap or whatever.
Producer on it.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. I noticed her name on there and I was like, getting in the producer. Like, it doesn't look horribly cheap and, terrible or anything. It's just like, obviously there was no big sets and they're filming in a house and then they're filming here and then...
I think Vanessa's finding her niche because she was also in The Princess Switch, which came out last year.
Was that another Netflix movie?
Another shitty Netflix movie.
Fair enough.
I haven't watched it, but she plays like a baker and a princess who happen to look identical and they switch places.
Classic.
Parent Trap style.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. Well, maybe because like some people... Maybe she has a similar deal where she signed on to do like 3-4 pictures or whatever, right? Because like Adam Sandler has famously had that deal. But anyway, let's go to the big scene where the kid gets lost in the snowy blizzard.
Oh yeah.
So
go for it.
So Cole the whole time has been teaching her niece like some knightly stuff with the swords, and then the niece goes to Cole or to her mom, and she's like, "Oh, I want to play with my friend." Blah blah blah. We're gonna go. We got some sticks. Outside, So you're like, and then they go outside into like their yard, and you're like, okay, cool. And then it like cuts to like, or the adults are like having a drink or whatever, and then it cuts to the one girl's like, my friend is lost, and you're like, you were in the yard. Like, what are you even talking about? And it's not even like snowing, but then suddenly it's a blizzard. But you can still easily see. And then he's like, Cole's like, I'm gonna go find him, and then she goes with. But here was my main problem, is that she eventually ends up on some pond in a lake or whatever, and they're like, we got turned around and everything. It's like, you had to hop a fence.
Yeah.
If a fence is in your way, you can then easily orient yourself about where you're going. Like,
not in the direction of the fence.
Yeah, like, you're like, oh, we ran into this fence, we should turn around. It's fine. But I was like, okay, whatever.
Also, like, how did she make it into the middle of the lake without noticing that she was walking on frozen water?
Yeah, it's
stupid. So very stupid.
But I was like, okay, this is one of those beats where, he does something
heroic.
Yeah, semi-heroic. Fine, right?
Yeah, stupid.
So the movie is not a high quality picture, which I assume is the picture we're painting here. Sorry, no pun intended. But it's just kind of like, eh.
So the scene with the pickpocket?
Yeah.
I was like thinking, oh, that's gonna be the girl with no mittens brother.
Right.
And he was like pickpocketing to like...
No, but that was the student's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. So he didn't matter. But if it was that girl's brother and he was pickpocketing to like buy his dad a Christmas present,
sure,
then that would have done a better job of leading into them getting presents for that family and gathering cash for the dad.
Sure. Yeah.
But they missed that opportunity. They were like, no.
Perhaps they did not spend much time on the script and didn't rethink. They
should have hired me.
Yeah, didn't think through some of these ideas. So I don't know. Like I said, it's not my kind of movie, but I was also like, this is not the best type of these movies, which I understood that going in.
Yeah,
but I was expecting a little better. It is, I suppose, because Vanessa Hudgens was in it. I was like, she's a known star.
Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is. John Whitehouse. I don't know if he's been in other stuff, but I was like, he's clearly a romantic lead type guy.
Yeah.
But like, he acted fine. She acted fine.
To be fair to this movie, which I don't know why I'm being fair, for the genre of Hallmark romance,
right?
Like, not like romance or Christmas romance, but specifically Christmas Hallmark romance.
Okay.
This is at the top of the pile.
There you go.
They get worse.
Yeah, like I was saying, I had a few qualms about some stuff that I was like, okay, they explained it, but I was also like, that doesn't make sense. Like I said, he, not only time travels, he's all of a sudden in Ohio. She owns like this huge house with a guest house.
Yeah,
and then
whatever.
I was like, I was just like, okay, whatever. Yeah, like the cops are just like, okay, that's cool. You take him home.
Yeah.
With his armor and sword and everything.
Also, when he stops a pickpocket and the cop's like, hey, you're pretty good at this. You should join the force. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. You should not encourage this crazy person.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'd fail a psych.
Who you think is crazy.
Yeah, because I think he even makes a joke about that. He's like, oh, you have to pass the psych exam or something like that.
Don't encourage him to be violent. Bad police officer. Bad.
Yeah.
We should move on, though.
Sure.
Because I don't know what else to...
no.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, you're giving the don't watch? I would say it's like a background situation. Fine. You're not paying attention. It's on in the background. Every so often you look over and he's doing something ridiculous-ish.
But
fine.
The ridiculous stuff he does isn't even funny.
No, I know.
It's not entertaining. If it was entertaining, I'd say yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But I don't know, were you entertained?
No.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, like as a background, it's just on and you're hanging out with your friends and family at Christmas time. It's fine.
Just turn it off. Put the Yule log on. That's more entertaining.
The hand gets in there, the Yule log isn't really touched.
What's going with Nick Offerman?
What's sorry? Oh yes, exactly. I've watched that.
Yeah, me too. That's more entertaining.
Yeah, fair enough. But the next movie was Better Watch Out from, I think, 2016.
Correct.
And I don't know, do you want to do another summary or do you want...
Before we summarize.
Okay.
Did you enjoy this movie?
Kind of.
Okay.
And I got some caveats here.
I don't think I enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay, so we wanted to do, because we were doing this romance one, we were like, let's do a Christmas horror movie, because they exist, and then the synopsis of this movie really does sell you on the fact that it's a babysitter with this kid, and there's a slasher situation. I was like, that sounds fun.
Cool.
Christmas slasher situation.
And it was compared to the movie The Babysitter, which I watched for the horror movies, and I really, really, really liked.
Yes, you did very much enjoy that.
If you're thinking like, oh, this is going to be like Mick G. Golden times, it's not.
Yeah. That basic premise is, yes. Okay, well this one, the other movie, doesn't matter. This is going to be spoiler here. Because it turns out that there is an initial scare situation, but it was set up by the kid, right?
Because he's in love with his babysitter.
He's in love with the babysitter. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but then you do the twist where it's going to be, there's an actual slasher that they now have to deal with.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that more.
Turns out the twist is, he's psychotic, he conks her over the head, and then he's got this whole elaborate thing. And as soon as he conked her on the head and she falls down the stairs, I could see the whole movie in my brain about what was about to happen, and I was like, oh, that's not the movie I wanted to see, though.
Yeah, I don't want to watch Kevin. I want to watch something fun.
Yeah, and that was where my enjoyment did take a dip. Because I was like, okay, you got me with the twist, because I wasn't expecting that twist, because I didn't want that twist. No. I wanted Christmas slasher movie.
Yeah, I think one of my qualms with this movie, which there are many, is that this didn't need to be a Christmas movie.
No.
There was nothing in it that made it Christmas aside from the fact that there was like a tree.
Yeah, there's like the Christmas framework. Like his parents are gone to a Christmas thing.
Yeah.
She's coming over and it's snowy outside.
But it could have taken place in the winter or any time of year, basically.
Yeah.
Didn't have really anything to do with the story.
Correct.
So it feels like they had this idea for a horror movie, and they're like, we'll put a Christmas twist on it so we can put it out in December.
Around Christmas time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible, right?
Which is, like, annoying, because it's just like that book I read in Mexico, The Christmas Crime in Colorado, where it didn't matter that it was Christmas.
Right, yeah.
So that, I don't know, that was one of the things, like, it wasn't a Christmas... And like, none of the deaths were particularly Christmassy.
No, definitely not.
I mean, she gets tied up by Christmas lights at one point.
But there's duct tape as well.
There's duct tape as well, yeah. So I was kind of like, it's either they thought of the title and then shoehorned in that it was Christmas.
Right.
Like, better watch out.
Yeah.
But the title seems to be like, apart from the movie as well.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was saying, that I was like, okay, I was expecting the twist to then be like, oh, there's an actual slasher situation now.
Yeah.
You know, you better watch out. There's an actual slasher coming at you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, and like I said, kudos to the movie in a sense to, they got me. I didn't see the Psycho Kid coming, but then I was also like, I don't want to watch Psycho Kid movie. And I was kind of like, not turned off from the movie, but I was like, oh, like I said, my enjoyment went down.
Yeah.
But, you know, positively that...
Also, another thing is, like, and I guess this is a positive, but that character is fundamentally unlikable from the first moment he's on screen.
Yes.
There is no... It would have been... I don't know. Maybe if he was a little more endearing at the start or something, but he's just kind of... He's kind of... like, even if he wasn't a psycho...
Yeah. You didn't like him anyway.
I didn't like him, and he was kind of like a sexual predator in training from the get-go, because he, like, keeps trying to make moves on her, and she's saying no and stop, and he just continues to try to do it, which makes sense when he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
But before you know that, you're just like, fuck this kid, I hope he dies soon.
Yeah, because she is 5 years older than him in the movie. Real life, there's a 4-year gap, whatever. But that's where I was kind of like, the kid's name is Levi Miller. He was in one of the Pans, I think the most recent one, maybe with Hugh Jackman. I think which is called Pan. Peter Pan.
Oh, okay.
Which I was like, you know, I guess credit to his performance that I hated his character the whole movie.
Oh yeah, I hated
But
him.
I was also like, yeah, I don't like this character, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know, I guess the twist would have been a little bit more interesting if, like, I had liked him at first, and then I would have felt, like, betrayed by him almost. Yeah. But I was just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, it's more like a story twist, not like a character twist. You're like, oh, okay, fine.
You know, I kind of, like, I feel like I don't like watching psychopaths gleefully hurt and kill people, too.
Sure.
Which, I guess some people do.
Okay.
But, like, it doesn't make for an enjoyable movie to me, like... When you're watching, like, a Halloween movie and Mike Myers is there slashing people, and he's obviously a psychopath who enjoys killing and hurting people, you're removed from it because, like, the point of view is kind of from the victim. Yeah. This movie is kind of from the point of view from the killer, and it's not like John Wick where you're like, he murders a bunch of people, but you're, like, on his side, he is the protagonist. It's like you're following the bad guy.
No, absolutely.
And not... a likable way.
Yeah, and it's different as well when, like you say, like just a slasher is just doing their slasher thing. Here, you know, we have to watch scenes of him rationalizing and manipulating people and this and that, and I'm just like, oh, just shut up. Like,
it's like hard to watch.
Yeah, like it's just annoying to watch. Really, is like I'm like, just get on with it, man. And he's like, oh, we're gonna do this, blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, get to the part where you're gonna kill somebody because I'm annoyed right now that you're just talking.
Yeah, and like, there's parts where you can tell the director was like, oh, this is gonna be kind of funny and cute to watch him like gleefully dance around and clean up after himself and set it up so the guy like looks like so he doesn't get in trouble. Yeah. But then you're watching it and you're like, just like, fuck, I hate this kid. Yeah. Right? Like, so it doesn't come across that way.
Yeah. So anyway, we kind of glossed over it, but basically, he conks over the babysitter. His buddy who was helping him, you know, he gives him some oxys, and then he was kind of like, oh, he ties up the girl. You know, he's gonna roofie her is the plan after they do some truth and dare hilarity. She smashes the roofie bottle. And so he's like, okay, I gotta elaborate on my plan. Gets her current boyfriend to show up. He traps him too. Then eventually gets his ex-boyfriend to come up. He traps him too. And then eventually kills everybody. And
I think that was his plan the whole time. I don't think I think roofing her was like a ploy to make his friend think that,
right,
or to set it up to make it look like she did it. But I think like the plan was to kill her ex-boyfriend, her current boyfriend, and her, maybe not his friend though.
I assume the friend was no, because he got all jealous. That he's touching his girl, right? So and then that's basically the movie. But like we were saying, is that there's just scene between this, it is just him blabbing away, and being justified in all my actions and
being manipulative, being a psychopath. You're watching a psychopath be a psychopath.
Yeah.
And it's not like The Babysitter is a fun rom.
Yeah.
It is so fun. It is so funny. It's really well paced. Like, all this terrible shit is happening, but you're from the point of view of the victim, so you're like cheering for him even when he has to do terrible things.
Sure.
He has reactions when he does terrible things. This movie, you're like, it's similar in the way that there is a babysitter and there is a young boy who has a crush on her, and you were seeing it from the young boy's perspective.
Yeah.
But it's unpleasant to watch.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said,
And it's not filmed bad. It's not
No.
scripted bad.
No.
Like, the pacing's pretty good. Like, there's nothing technically wrong except that you're following around a little psychopath that you hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was directed by Chris Peckover and written by Zach Kahn. Those are the people.
Also, it's criminal to underuse
Patrick Warburton.
Yeah. I saw his name in the title. I got super excited.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, that'll be kind of cool that he's in there, but he's just.
I thought maybe he was gonna be the killer. I was like, bring him back. That would be cool. No, he's just kind of there as dad.
Yeah. Well, and this was one element I did like about the movie was his, like you said, like their setups for when they were scaring the babysitter, like because they had a set up like a Santa cutout like on the window, and they set up a tripwire, and at the end of the movie, like you said, where he's trying to set stuff up so then he's not getting caught. It's like that was kind of cool, but it was kind of like. Yeah, and some of the kills were unexpected, which I did appreciate. I was like, the paint can was, Home Alone's the one guy. I was like, wow, that was, very, very oof. And when he kills his ex-boyfriend as well, he just hangs
that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's got the ride-on lawnmower. He's just like, to raise him up. Which I was like, from a forensic standpoint, they would see tracks in the snow.
I assume he
covered him in some way, I guess.
But he thinks he's the best ever.
True. Yeah.
Didn't expect a pencil in the side of the face when that happened.
Yeah. What I liked about that scene is, you see that kind of thing in a horror movie a lot, where somebody like pencils somebody, but there was like a far greater effect. Yeah. He like pencils him in the cheek, and the current boyfriend is like, dude, what the hell, and like just takes the pencil out and then just continues to like punch the kid or whatever, which I liked that because normally they would get in the eye or they'd be like and they're down. He just continues on with his punching the kid or whatever. So I did like that as well. I don't know, like it was weird because this movie had it was rated R.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, which
it's weird though because you don't see the aftermath of the paint can or the actual like.
But I think it's the swearing and the drug use.
Oh yeah, because they do smoke marijuana.
Pot, and he takes the oxys. To the kid
off screen,
and he's drinking. Underage drinking a lot,
drinking,
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's the kind of stuff that would definitely push it in America to an R. And there's some swearing and stuff like that. So I was just like, because apparently this film played in a film festival.
Oh.
And there's an Australia production company involved and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, was it just like they didn't realize that they would get a harder rating? Because this obviously would be aimed towards a teenage audience. Teenage protagonist, teenage babysitter and stuff like that. Or was the people who made it, they didn't care and they were just wanted to make the movie they wanted to make.
Maybe.
Because like it did open and it did make money. Well, it made $176,000 in its theatrical-ish run.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. Like I said, it was played at a film festival and then it was purchased and then released. So, like we were talking about, like who's making money or who's not making money on this situation here, or was it just they were like, oh, we didn't realize it would get such a negative reaction in rating or something? I don't know, because.
Do you know what the grossest scene in the movie was for me?
I don't know. Tell me.
When she's coming into consciousness again, and those two boys are playing Fuck, Marry, Kill with it. I don't know. That conversation, I hated it. I was
right, because they're talking about the Powerpuff Girls, I think, right?
No, Adventure Time.
Adventure Time? Okay, sorry.
But just the way they're talking and just so objectifying, and it's just made me feel gross.
Well, and even the scene,
this whole movie made me feel gross.
Because he's like, oh, truth or dare, and then he's like, oh, I dare you to touch her tit or whatever.
Yeah, it's super rapey.
Yeah, and I thought he would just it would be he's like, oh, and then just be like, bing, kind of like the one finger jokingly, ha ha ha, but it's like no, and I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah.
They did a great job of making you hate that kid.
Yeah, I guess so.
But the thing is, if you liked that kid, if he was somehow likable, then at the very end, when he's trying to clean everything up and get into bed, and he has to climb out a window and run across and climb in his window, and it's kind of tense because he keeps knocking down Christmas decorations and his parents are driving up.
Yeah.
You would have cared if you liked him, but because I didn't like him and I just wanted him to get caught, I was hoping he'd fall off the roof and break his neck.
Yeah. I guess it was, it's a tough thing to write that character, especially as a young kid. An adult story.
Yeah.
It would be it's almost like a Patrick Bateman kind of thing, right? Where you're you follow him along, you don't like him, but you're
you
all right. Him, you're I get it, but I'm okay with it or whatever, right? But you're not whereas as a kid you're just like I said, every time he was kind of talking, I was like, man, just let's move this along here. Let's get to something.
And you couldn't watch it from the babysitter's point of view because she spends most of it tied up, right?
Well, and that's one of the things I thought they were going to go with, because she gets a shard of glass.
And she's cutting herself
out. And I was like, oh, okay, she gets out and then they have to chase her down or something. But that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen yet.
Because then that would be the twist, is now she's...
hunting them.
Or they're the slashers hunting her, right?
Yeah.
Or the kid is hunting her in the house and she's trying to get out. Because they only do that for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Where she tries to get out and then he just conks her out.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You leave, you die.
Yeah, you leave, you die.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, but I wouldn't tell anyone to go watch it either.
Yeah.
And I think that was their major downfall, is that, basically the protagonist and the person that you're supposed to be rooting for is entirely unlikable because he's a psychopath. He's super manipulative, kind of rapey, and just a shitty person.
Yes.
And not fun. Mm-hmm. Not in a fun way.
Well, yeah, because before you find out that he's total psycho, because they're doing the truth or dare thing, and then she's like, "Oh, you never told your friend that you killed his turtle or whatever," and then they're or the hamster, sorry, and they're like, "Oh, blah blah," and then eventually he's like, "It wasn't an accident. I killed it on purpose," and you're like, "Oh, so he is psycho."
Yeah,
and that could have been a neat reveal, like you were saying, had they played it a little differently in the earlier part of the movie. To eventually that point, and then you're oh shit, she's really in trouble now, right?
So to compare it to The Babysitter again, which I don't know if that's really helpful at all, but there's the babysitter and the kid. When the parents leave, he's a big nerd. He doesn't really have any friends.
Yeah.
And they just hang out and have fun together.
Yeah.
So there's this whole montage of them dancing goofy in the living room to stupid music with a lights, and then playing tag in the backyard and stuff.
Right.
And if they'd done something like that instead of having him be super kind of
opening the champagne and trying to get with her,
predatory kind of with her when she's struggling to have a conversation with her boyfriend who she's breaking up with.
Yeah.
If they had done something like that instead, then maybe when he said that, you'd be like, fuck, she's so fucked.
Yeah.
I'm so worried for her. But he's just a dick through the whole thing. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I think you're saying as well, and we're agreeing. Some of the the pieces are there. It's just
it's a vastly
just some tweaks could have made it far better.
Totally. Yeah. And it's a much better film than The Night Before. It's comparing apples and oranges, but it's a better story. It's more interesting to watch. I'd rather watch that than The Night Before.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah.
But it's not something that I would like necessarily like go to somebody and be like, you gotta watch this movie.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying as well, where I was kind of like disappointed because I was like, oh, I just wanted to watch a Christmas slasher movie, and that sounded like it'd be fun.
I wanted to watch someone dressed up as Santa Claus with a butcher knife terrorizing a babysitter.
Yeah, because when they're terrorizing the babysitter for the setup, who delivers that pizza?
I guess they prepaid for it, or I don't.
They ordered it previously, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because like somebody delivers a pizza, and they're all like, "Oh my god, oh no, it's just a pizza delivery." But I was like, she never ordered a pizza. Who ordered this pizza?
I guess he ordered it online or something.
Maybe, I guess, yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
Well, I guess that's probably why I hadn't heard of it previously.
Yeah.
And I only found it through Googling.
Krampus.
Yeah.
That couldn't take place at any other time than Christmas.
No, it's a Christmas movie through and through.
Yeah, but this one was just, it just seemed like it was tacked onto that so that they could maybe have a better chance of selling it.
Sure, or it's...
Or the Better Watch Out, they wanted to use that title, even though it doesn't really make sense with...
Like, because there's not a Santa-related slasher.
Yeah, it would have been like, Naughty or Nice would have been a better title because he's like a psychopath pretending to be a normal person.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
Guys? Hire me, Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Unfortunately, it seems like we didn't watch 2 quality movies this time.
What are you talking about? Night Before is so good.
You just spent like 20 minutes bagging on it.
Listen, you can't deny Vanessa Hudgens' talent.
Well, and that's what I was saying previously, that I was surprised. I thought there would be a little more behind it with her name attached and what have you. So.
Yeah, The Night Before was like the first draft of a movie.
And they just shot it.
They shot it, yeah. It seems like there was like the changes that I think they could have made.
Mm-hmm. It's not like huge script rewrites. It's just like minor character traits.
It's like rewrite the beginning with Sir Cole.
Yeah.
Add in like 1 or 2 scenes where he's kind of rude.
Well, and that's just,
and then done.
And even like I was saying, because he's like romantic guy, handsome. He would be able. He would like if he was arrogant, you'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy who would be arrogant.
Yeah, because he was good looking. Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, and he's like, don't talk to me, peasant woman. And you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
But he was all nice to all the peasants right away.
He was nice to everybody.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy who did a nice thing.
He's the knight in shining armor, Devin.
Ugh.
Yeah. Unlike our psycho kid.
Hmm?
Unlike our psycho kid from...
Cole was too good, and Psycho Kid was too bad. They needed to...
Yeah. And I think, like you were saying as well, that it could have gone in a neat direction that I was thinking and for a little bit there where, she gets out and then she's on the run from the 2 of them or from him. But that didn't really happen
I just wanted to watch Santa come with a butcher knife. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted.
I wasn't even expecting it to be Santa. I was just expecting a slasher during a Christmas
No, I wanted Santa to come down the chimney with a butcher knife.
Well, I would say at one point, obviously, he's dressed as Santa to fool somebody, right? And you're like,
or whatever. Yeah. And be like, have you been naughty or nice?
Yeah.
And then put like I wanted a severed foot in a stocking. Like she goes, oh my, why is the stocking full? And then there's a severed foot and she's horrified.
Oh, there's something dripping out of it. That's kind of weird. Oh!
Yeah. Somehow elves are going to be involved. They're rampaging Rudolph.
Then you're going Krampus supernatural. I was just talking grounded slasher guy.
No, it doesn't have to be like actual elves.
Oh, okay.
They could just be like his like kill friends.
All right.
It's murder support group.
Yeah.
Kind
of like one of those home invasion movies that were big during the Purge.
Yes.
Yeah. Because there was like 2 or 3 of them or whatever that were all like, in your house invaded us. These people. Yeah. Are you home? You're next. Or are you my neighbor? Or we're your neighbor? Something like that.
So Santa is slashing around.
Right.
And then he has like sexy elf assistant. who, like, you think is gonna betray him, but then she actually betrays the babysitter.
Right.
They're, like, friends, or thinks they're friends. But no, she kills her. She puts her foot in the stocking. Oh,
nice.
So many missed they could have brought in Hanukkah and had somebody get stabbed with a dreidel. Like, it could have been great. But no, we have to watch a sad movie about a psychotic kid being stupid. Yeah.
Well, and then the ultimate twist at the end is that he at one point just randomly stabs the girl through the neck. Yeah. Because she's in the middle of a conversation about how, hey, you're an idiot kind of a thing. And he's just like, through the neck.
No, she was like, your mom doesn't love you.
Yeah, basically. Basically saying how he's a bad person. Yeah. No one loves him. And stabs her through the neck. She does all this thing. And then at the end, she's getting wheeled into a ambulance because they're like, oh, she's alive. She used duct tape to, like, seal the wound. And then she fingers our kid.
And then in the post-credits, he's like, Mom, we should go to the hospital and make sure she's okay.
Yeah. And then that's the movie. Which I was like, he didn't make sure she was dead? I don't buy that. After everything he was doing.
Everything he did. He didn't take her pulse.
Yeah, I didn't see that she was still breathing. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I don't recommend it.
I don't think I would either.
No.
But like I said, the movie definitely...
Go watch Krampus instead.
It got me with the twist, which I was like, good on you, but this is not the movie I wanted, and it's not as entertaining now.
Yeah. Agree.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Not a bad movie.
No.
I just didn't like it.
Yeah. It's just...
Not my cup of cocoa.
Hot cocoa, yeah.
Peppermint mocha.
Yeah.
Eggnog latte.
Indeed.
Okay, I'll stop naming holiday drinks.
Mm-hmm. But you would recommend something like Krampus, which we've talked about.
Yeah, Krampus is great.
Krampus is really great. I'd also recommend Krampus.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good Christmas movies.
Sure, there are tons.
And if you want to watch a cheesy romantic Christmas movie, I would recommend The Holiday, where Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz.
Right, you talked about this one, yeah.
Because
that's right. That's what's Jack Black in it and stuff like that. Yeah, we talked about this I think last time.
Cameron Diaz and Jude Law, their story is bogus, but Kate Winslet and Jack Black is really cute. Nice. So I would watch that instead.
Cool.
That's my recommendation. And it actually matters that it takes place at Christmas time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's hard to do though. Like with any kind of holiday premise, is that it can just seem like either it's just tacked on or like even a Halloween one. Yeah. It's sort of easier because it's like, oh, it's spooky time and you can do like killers and stuff like that. But other stories that it's just like, it just happens to be Christmas and that could be fine. Yeah. That it's just like, oh, it just happens to be Christmas. But if it's like a Christmassy movie,
if they have a Christmassy name,
sure,
but it just happens to be taking place at Christmas, I don't like that.
Right. You want it more woven into the story.
Yeah, I wanted Killer Santa. With a name like You Better Watch Out.
Yeah. No, but I'm thinking something like Bad Santa. Like...
I didn't see that.
You haven't seen Bad Santa? Oh,
no.
It's so good. Dark comedy, but of course it takes place during Christmas, and he's a Santa, and then it all kind of makes sense that there's these Christmas elements, and the robbery takes place on Christmas.
Even like Love Actually could have taken place at not Christmas, but it works because it takes Christmas.
Yeah, it adds just a good dimension to it. Mm-hmm. Right, so and that's what I was saying.
Get the saddest scene ever of Emma Thompson crying in her bedroom.
Yeah,
I always cry at that part.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah. And Laura Linney, her part I cry at too.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you want to watch old white ladies cry, go watch Love Actually. Okay, we should wrap up, I guess.
Sure.
Unless you have more to say about either film.
I think we've kind of talked. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of want to talk more about Better Watch Out, but there's not much more to say really. It's like I said, some of the kills were unexpected, which was cool. Yeah. Which I liked that, but it was also like that could have just been in not this movie. Like in a different, using the same kills, but in a different way in this movie.
I guess because they was death by paint can and it was holiday. Yeah. That's your tie-in. It would have been great if they got Macaulay Culkin to play that character.
Sure. Get slammed in the face.
Yeah.
He's probably busy.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Red Letter Media.
Yeah, totally. This podcast.
Yeah.
Bunny ears.
Indeed. But anyway.
Wrap up.
Sure.
Would you recommend either movie? No.
Unfortunately, no.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Cool. If you want to find us, you can. Mm-hmm. We're online. Google it. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Tome of Uselessness. We are website, tomeofuselessness.com. We have Gmail, tomeofuselessness@gmail.com.
It's all the same thing to make it easy.
Yeah.
Although some of because our Twitter's different. It's like useless_tome or something like that, right?
Don't remember, but if you
but that's what I mean. It like comes up like that, but it's like it's a different @handle or whatever.
I think it was too long.
Yeah. But Instagram, Gmail, and our website are all the same. Yeah, and Facebook. So make it easy.
Thank you for listening. Please rate and review us on iTunes, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and joy to the world, and
and happy holidays.
Angels get their wings.
Happy holidays and everything like that as well.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. Kwanzaa as well.
Kwanzaa. Yeah. Winter solstice.
Winter solstice, yeah. Actually, that's coming up, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Did they miss anything? Please don't be a psychopath.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and happy holidays. And we'll see you next time.